Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Kinama, and we're back doing some more modded Minecraft on the Tough Dude server. think about it. It's been a while. So you may notice my base has actually changed quite a bit. I'll get into each part of it eventually. I should be done with a lot of my traveling and get hopefully get back to doing some YouTube videos. I've been off, and unfortunately, I didn't have the time. Also, apparently, I didn't have the time to turn off Discord. I didn't have the time to record a bunch before I left. It's work trips, and yeah, kind of sucked. I knew about them well in advance, but I got lazy. Too much work. So anyway, I'm back. I still got a lot of projects going on, so the videos may still be a little delayed, but I'm gonna try to at least pump them out when I can, when I'm playing, and I may try to do possibly some streaming as well. We'll see how that goes. So first, my base. Let's put up the mutton. We don't need the mutton. As you can see, my base has changed quite a bit. There's some text stuff out there that kind of mirrors this. That was something I was showing in Squid, and there's walls. So let's jump right into Chisels and Bits. I already got the stuff ready for it, and I need actually some quarried stone like that. So Chisels and Bits, if you're not familiar with the mod, it's pretty cool. I don't know how they have this mod so optimized, but they do. It's ooh, wait. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. The walls. Is it? No, it's got to be cooked up. I don't want to just use the quarried stone and then it'd be different than the actual polished or cooked or whatever. Do we have any? Yeah, we don't. I guess I used it all. I'll take more out of here. Stone. So not under. Oh, we actually have 12. That's fine. So let's place this down. So the Chisels and Bits is actually pretty optimized. I don't know how they do it, but you think with micro blocks and stuff used to actually cause quite a lot of lag. It seemed. This does not. I've used a lot of it and had very minimal lag, or not really any lag, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna grab some of this. That may be. Oh, it's not too much. Put down my staff that I'll get into shortly. So there's a couple things with Chisels and Bits. You basically have your chisel. You can hold down left alt and it gives you a bunch of options. You can do what I did, which was a drawn region to kind of highlight a little area. Let's just say we want this out of here. Pretty easy. You could do full blocks. You could do multiple blocks. You could also just do a large cube. And you can see you can move that around, click it around. You could do it where this snaps the large cube. Smaller sizes that snap. And then if you want to, you could just undo it, and it just places all those bits back in here. You want to make sure you have bits bags, though. These bits bags, if you look into them, 512s, they hold thousands. As you can see, this one has like 14,000 dark oak plank bits. This one's got, 12,000 quarried stone bits. So they hold a lot. So you want to make sure you have these because you would have a mess if you didn't. So that's how I did the detail for all of this stuff. Bit by bit. But then once you get a basic pattern, so for the diagonal walls, I set up a basic wall design. I'm going to do the top part. You just right click on it. You can make these positive chisel designs. There's also negative chisel designs that I'll get into here in a minute. And we can kind of go over to a wall that we've created, or a section, and hold down left alt again. With the designs, you get these 4 options. Additive, which will add the bits that are missing. Placement, which will place the full thing. Replace, should kind of replace the block. Pose, we want to do additive, and this should be correct. No, it's not. So we can just do undo. Why is it not correct? Because how is it? Okay, so it is angled differently. Let's just do it on this. So it doesn't want to angle that way. I may have to build out some scaffolding to get this placed exactly right. I placed it there that time and it wasn't correct. So okay, so that one is not correct either. I think I need to turn this around, but anyway, get the picture. I hope. So you can use these designs, even though I did a very poor example of it. Okay, that one lines up. So that's the one that I have for there. I'd have to jump over the bits. So since this one is only for that, we'd have to then put it here and here. That's right, right? See, it's still off on this side, on all of them, right? It is. It's missing that block. Oh, not close enough. So I'm going to have to figure that part out. I may just have to turn around. I think that may be the same way I placed it over there. That fits there. What about on this side? Okay, that actually looks more correct if I was going to say it was actually right. So it would go down on this end. But I would do one for the middle section, one for the 2 ends. And so I'll probably carry around like 5 different little patterns for me and copy all of those top pieces and go with it. So the other thing you can do is, let's say I already have a bunch of blocks placed and then I wanted to chisel them out like this, or if you may notice, that's kind of a path that I like to do a lot with cobblestone, diorite, or cobblestone, andesite, gravel. I mean, a lot of people use this for basic, multi shades of gray, I guess you could say. Not 50 shades. But you got, blocks, andesite, all the different kind of weird textures in here to make a nice path. Well, once you get those all in place, you can use this negative, which this is only looking at how the blocks are. So it's only looking at the design of the blocks, in this case the steps, and then you can kind of go up here. I already did this once already, so we'll do it up here. So right click and you can see it turned this block into steps, the same as, basically the same as the actual negative pattern. So you can do it on a pre-existing thing. You can see it kind of took off the top part. So it's pretty cool. You can get something designed and set up and then just use the negative pattern to chisel it out the way you want it with the block that's already there. So makes it kind of you know, kind of works. It worked for these. That way I could have, you notice this side is actually different than this side over here. Now, since this is pulling out of regular blocks, you do want to make sure you have plenty of bag space in the bits bags, because you will get a lot of extra blocks. So what I ended up doing was, after I had a whole bunch of cobblestone blocks, or bits I should say, is take the pattern, let's reset it, take the pattern, click on it, and then you can then place it. So in some of these other areas, just so to use some of the bits we've taken from carving out the areas. So this has taken me forever, between the fences. Really just to design it, placing it's not as bad, and then the stairs and everything. And then this area, my farming area, hasn't been too bad. Now, before I get into the farming area, let me get into this area over here. So I got a message from Squid. If you haven't seen his video, go check it out. But he was looking at setting up a pizza place, and he wanted to, after crafting a couple pizzas, he realized there are several steps. So to make a Pam's pizza, you have to craft cheese, you have to craft dough, you have to, get salt, a lot of different items. So what you can kind of do, and I did this a little differently. I may set up some other ways of doing this, but I set up this as a quick little way of crafting pizzas. Now it is bugged, or it does suck. I do need to redo this. I'm not going to plan on making pizzas, so I didn't redo it, but if Squid needs some help with it, I can kind of explain why what I did here was not working right. And it's mainly with the pressers. So I set up all of this, kind of walked him through it, showed him that basically if you're doing a lot of crafting, if you need to make wheat, or if you need to make, where's dough? Craft dough. It's pretty easy to set up a refined storage, and then you have, can just throw all the components in it, and it should make it pretty easy without having to do manual crafting. In this case, one of the things that it needs salt. For salt you need water. So this is a mechanical user that's just throwing a bucket in here, and this is set to right click the bucket onto water. Now I may end up, if I do something like that, I may just export the bucket into a fluid transposer that's filled up like this with water. That may work a little bit better, and then export the fluid or the water buckets out. And it may work better than this setup. I was trying to think of something smaller or something. I don't know. We'll see. But the water is not necessarily the problem as the pressers. And the pressers, they're kind of designed weird, and maybe I'm wrong. So put that down in the comments if I am. It seems like every single side of the presser, you can either put stuff in or pull stuff out. So it kind of helps, so you kind of have to have this placed maybe on top. So it goes in here. If you put it on the side, sometimes it inputs it in like this one instead of the top one. So it has some issues there. But then if you're trying to filter stuff out, like over here, I was trying to, just export everything out. It was exporting stuff it was putting up here as well. So you kind of have to separate this, basically because soybeans, where's some soybeans? Soybeans basically have to be pressed down into softened tofu first, before the softened tofu, before it will press it down into, and do we have any, soy milk, and then this firm tofu. So this has to be redone. But in doing this, I actually was like, well, it'd be nice if there was a way to auto farm the soybeans and the sesame seeds, which this is made to go into cooking oil, and the tomatoes for the pizza sauce. And I started looking for harvester, and FTB really doesn't. There's a creative harvest, and then there's this crop harvester. FTB really doesn't have a good harvester that I thought that I knew about. But Actually Additions does. Actually Additions has this thing over here called the farmer. And I didn't know how this worked. I haven't used it before. It's pretty easy to make. It does take a lot of iron. One of these takes a full block of iron. You do have to get into using this thing, this little atomic reconstructor, to change blocks of iron to another type of block that I'm drawing a blank on. It's like Enori, Enori or something. Blocks, whatever. All the Actually Addition stuff, you have to convert standard blocks like iron, emeralds, redstone, coal, lapis to other materials using that reconstructor. So these do take 4 blocks of iron per farmer. But I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure how this works, but it's actually very simple. You can just power it up, and here I'm using solar power. It's got one area for the seeds, one area for the output. Everything it harvests, it puts over here, and then it pulls only from this section. So eventually I will have this hooked up to I put the power going in from one side of it, and it's the side that I'm going to hook up item conduits to pull out items from. So I do plan on having this basically 20 individual plots where I could have things growing all at different times. So this is 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those farmers do a 9x9 section. So having them tiered like this, it does kind of help. That way it doesn't do like one big area, and I can have the individual farms. But like this one here is basically 5x5. So it's got the farmer back there, and it does enough for this area and enough for this area. So pretty cool. Let's go under there and show it. So I tried hooking it up to that system. It actually filled up. I needed more storage. It worked pretty well with these areas being chunk loaded because it's always farming it. So it doesn't work too well with the seeds from Pam's though, because when it harvests it, like if we harvest one of these, let's do these tomatoes. Oh, they're there. If you harvest the tomatoes, you get tomatoes. You have to kind of put them back to craft them into seeds. So I'd have to, if I wanted to do anything with the seeds, I'd have to look into that, seeing maybe if it's possible, pump everything out of it. I don't know. I don't know if it'd be too worth it to get all of them upgraded. So, yeah, well, I got to figure that part out. But for right now, everything's fine, and here, if we wanted to have this going, this would go ahead and start planting them on this farm like that. And then once those grow, it will harvest it. It's going to fill up the 6 slots first before it actually starts running over with these. It's going to fill up these 6 before it starts running over to these. And then if you put an item conduit on here, it's going to only pull out of this section. So that's the way the farmers work. So I liked this setup. So I will do this on each corner on the other side of this stairway up. Basically the same corner I have here, I'm going to do over here. Kind of like this area. And this area. And this. All of this stuff I'm probably going to move on this platform. Actually, I'll probably move a lot of it down below this, because I want to keep a lot of my tech farms and stuff actually hidden out of the way. Everything up here is going to be like the blood ritual. One area will be the roots. ritual area. There'll be a blood temple. One area is going to be Botania. If I need to do any machines or anything up above ground, I'll try to keep those. I kind of wanted to make this look more of a gardening area. I want to do something with the lights too, not have all these torches. As you may notice, I've already made some mega torches to prevent spawns. That way I don't have to have every single block torched up. So I think those only do 32 block radius. So I do have 4 on each side. That should be plenty for now. And it's not going to go all the way down to bedrock because it's only 32 block radius. So we'll see how that goes. But that's pretty much the progress I've made so far. A lot of chisels and bits, a lot of time with this. It is going to take a lot of time to multiply these farms. I may lay out the blocks here that I can remove or do stuff with underneath this farming section before continuing, because I kind of want to get into other stuff before I finish actually all of these little farming areas. I may move the wheat over there. Not that I need that much wheat. This wheat was mainly, and let's see if I can get lucky and get any. Probably not. Nope. I was trying to get sprigs, these guys right here, for the roots mod. Oh, hi. Yeah, I don't end up getting that many of them, which kind of sucks. It'd be nice if you get some from those farmers, but it doesn't look like you do. So I can probably actually go ahead and just throw these seeds in there, and the stuff will just be there. Hey. Yeah, you die. I mean, but that's going to probably do it, I think. Let's get away from those. That's the base so far. I will try to do more regular videos and more regular progress. Now that I have a little bit more time to record, and then when I'm not actually wanting to record progress, I'll try to fill in like the little bits, pieces, and other stuff. But definitely let me know down in the comments what you think about this. I will try to slow down a little bit and not actually maybe focus on the refined storage and break up the mods a little bit per episode, so we're not kind of jumping real quick, and go more in depth of actually additions, because it's a pretty cool mod, and especially a lot of the components of that. And if you want me to spend more time on Chisel and Bits, I can, but it's pretty simple. I mean, most tutorial videos out there for it is only like 5 or 10 minutes long. It's fairly simple once you understand what the pieces do and how to put them back, and definitely use a bits bag. So, but that is going to do it, I think, for this episode. Let me know what you think. But this has been Kinama, and I'll talk to you later.